Hi you guys, this is Mama Bear 87 again, and today I'm going to do a review on your hospital stay. The reason why I'm doing this video is because this time around I didn't really know the hospital that I was going into because I was new at the town and at the doctor's office at the OBGYN. So I kind of started freaking out once I realized that I might not feel comfortable on the hospital that I was gonna go into. I started researching a lot on YouTube and Google, and unfortunately, I didn't find any personal experience regarding any hospital stay, any specific hospital stay. Usually people don't mention that. They mention how the delivery story and how everything went, and they mention what to pack on your hospital bag, but they don't really mention how you were treated on that particular hospital. So all I really had to go on was the information given to me on the website of the hospital. And of course, like we Cuban people say, the paper can hold whatever you write on it. So it's still, I was not feeling comfortable with that, and I wanted to change that. So at least at least I will be able to reach, I don't know, 5 of you who can hopefully see my experience and learn from what I went through. I'm going on my third kid now. My first child was born in 2012, May 26, 2012. My second was my daughter. She was born December 24, 2014. And my third will be born, well, my due date is March 18, but I guess we don't know yet when she will be born. Now, my first two experiences were very different. They were 2 years apart from each other, but they were very different. And still, they were at the very same hospital. As I got to the, first of all, okay, honey, leave it there. First of all, as I got to the hospital, I went to Palisades Medical Center. For all of you who are not familiar, I currently live in New Jersey. At the time, that was the hospital that was closest to me. That hospital is located, I think that's North Bergen. I'm not sure. I'm gonna Google that right now as I'm doing the video to you. Palisades Medical Center. No, bótalo. Palisades Medical Center. That address is 7600 River Road, North Bergen, New Jersey, 07046. I had been there before as like an emergency, and it was like the worst thing ever. The hospital has changed a lot. It has gotten better. I'm talking about 2012. I had gone a few times before to treat myself as an emergency, and they took long to see me. There was a long waiting period, and the people were not nice, and it took forever for you to get the doctor to see you or even a nurse to see you. However, I was planning on going to another hospital that was a little bit more far off, but because I was a first-time mom, I felt kind of freaked out when I started having my contractions. I waited a lot at home because I didn't know. I broke my water like sitting on the toilet, and I just kind of waited there, and I thought I was actually peeing on myself. Things had occasionally happened before a few times. Towards the end of the pregnancy, I was like, okay, so that this must be one of those times. And then everybody was telling me, like, if I didn't see blood or mucus pulp, well, not everybody, but my friends were saying that, then I should totally not go to the hospital. Since I was a first-time mom, like I said, I've been going to that emergency room for a long time before my due date, thinking that I was in labor, and I wasn't, and they made me wait so much, and they treated me so horrible. Like, they just told me, the last time I went, the doctor brought like 10 students with him, and then on top of all, in front of everybody, he just told me, lady, you're pregnant, and you should get used to having pain. That's just the way it is. Deal with it. If you want to have kids, that's how it's going to be. Your pregnancy is going to be uncomfortable. I totally thought that was so inappropriate for him to tell me. And on top of that, so inappropriate for him to tell me, and unprofessionally in front of all the people, like his students and stuff like that. I'm sorry if I'm talking fast. I just don't want to forget anything that I'm going to say in this video. So anyway, I decided to wait at home. I was having pain. I think I waited for like 3 hours in the house having pain. into like my mother called me and she's like, oh, how you doing? I'm like, nothing. And then I'm like, ah, having one contraction. And then she's like, oh my god, you're like are you sure you're having nothing? I think you're gonna give birth or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm not in labor. My due date is not right now. I was like 37 weeks. I'm like, I still have a few more weeks into my due date. And she's like, are you sure? I think I'm gonna go and leave work and go with you. And then she called my friend, and my friend was like on a barbecue, and she left the barbecue. She came on a taxi. By the time she got to my house in the taxi, I called her and I said, listen, hold on to that taxi because I'm going to be right there and we're going right now to the hospital. Why did I do that? Because my contractions were exactly 3 minutes apart for a period of 20 minutes. It was really painful where every time I felt a contraction, I had to like bend over and like go down on the floor. And I was a first time mom, so I was freaking out a lot. By the time we got to the hospital, they made me wait. Like seriously, I was there and I was like, every time I had a contraction, every freaking 3 minutes. And still, they set me on a wheelchair, and this is Palisades Medical Center in Bergen. And they told me they got my insurance, they wanted all my information. Of course, they already had it in the system. I've been there like 100 times. And still, they asked me all these stupid questions before. And they set me down in an office before actually getting me into a room, which I found ridiculous. So I had to wait there a lot. By the time I get to this, like, I don't know what they call it, but they take you to a room first in every hospital before they actually take you to the labor room to make sure that you're having contractions, how far they are, and you have broken your water or whatever. The nurse was like super sweet. I feel so bad that I don't remember her name. But she was like the best nurse ever. And she was so nice. And I remember she was like, I'm a big woman, so I remember she was like so skinny. She was this skinny white woman, but she was so nice from the moment I saw her that it just made me feel like all that whole thing that happened in the beginning was just, I was gonna forget about it and just pay attention to my nice nurse. And by the time I went there with my son, I was not going to a private office. I was going to a public clinic, the North Hudson County Community Corporation Clinic. So I could get any doctor from that hospital. The reason why I decided to go to that hospital was because it was the closest to my house. And I truly felt that I was going to like pop out the baby on the taxi. I didn't even pay the taxi driver. By the way, if you're seeing me, I'm so sorry. He was so nice. He actually came back the next day. Not the next day, the very same day after I had the baby to see me. That was so cute. Just a random person doing that for you. But anyway, sweetie, stop doing that. Mommy's making a video and you need to be nice. So I'm there with my nurse and she's like, oh, she tells me like this, oh, you broke your water. Because they talk like that to you. She's all like, oh, you broke your water. And, well, it looks like you're 6 centimeters dilated. So it's just a few more centimeters. I'm like, is she joking? And then she takes me to this other room where it's like labor and delivery. And my whole family is there. And they bring the car seat and everything. Like, I'm just going to pop out and go to the hospital. Which was initially my thought. I had not pushed Alexander out, and I was already asking the nurse, when can I go home? Like, because I totally feel fine right now. And so that was nice. However, my goodness. Sorry, guys. However, once I go to the delivery room, the labor and delivery room, I get this other nurse that I guess was like the boss of that nice lady that was with me. I'm sorry. Okay, sweetie, look at yourself. Look. Come look. Yeah. Okay. Come on. Yeah. So I go over there. Yeah. What happened? Yeah. Yeah? Or is mommy gonna have to make the video again? No? Okay. So like I was saying, I go over there and I see this nurse, and she's like the boss of the nurse that I had, I guess, the main nurse or whatever. She was so mean, like super mean from the moment she saw me. She's like, "Oh, you're just pushing a little baby out, so don't be screaming and like in pain. There's nothing to be in pain of." And then all of a sudden, of course, I start asking because I was like really, really, really in pain. I said, "Well, again, all this time, like 2 hours passed. I never saw a doctor." And then this nurse is like all mean with me, and she comes and she's all like, um, "How much pain are you in?" I'm like, "Don't you see me? I'm having contractions like every 2 minutes now." And then I asked her, "How long do you think this is going to be? Because if this is gonna take one more hour, then I can take it. But if it's gonna take like if it's gonna take like 24 hours of pain, like the font that I'm feeling right now, then of course I'm not gonna be able to take it." And she's all like, "Well, you're first time mom, so you're most likely gonna be in pain for like the next 24 hours before you even deliver the baby." Who says that, by the way? I was already 6 centimeters dilated. You're not supposed to give it time like that. Anybody out there, don't believe it. I mean, from personal experience, if you already have been dilated, like about 6 to 7 centimeters, from there to get to 8 or 10, it's usually pretty quickly. It takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Again, that's on some cases and based on my personal experience, not on everybody. But however your situation is, a nurse is never supposed to tell you that it's going to take you a day or two. She's supposed to say, "I have no idea." There's different, it's different from every woman or something like that. She's not supposed to give you an answer because that's the professional thing to do. Because look at what she did. She made me have medicine before I actually needed it, saying that I was going to be there for 24 hours because I was a first time mom pushing my damn baby out. Like, seriously, you don't do that. But anyway, she did that, and I decided to get an epidural. Worst decision ever. That anesthesiology at the Palisades Medical Center on May 26, 2012, she was this Philippine lady, and she was super mean, and on top of that, she couldn't do the anesthesia, the epidural right. She had to pinch me 6 times and she couldn't get it right. At the end, because my contractions were going so smoothly and quickly, she had to give up on the whole epidural, and I had to have my baby as it was with no medicine because I was already like 8 centimeters dilated. I felt like the need of pushing, and I called the doctor, and the doctor was nowhere to be found. Apparently, she was delivering another baby, and there was like no other doctor who could deliver my baby. So the nurse is like helping me out, and she like kind of starts on the process, and then once the head is like half the way through, then the doctor comes and she does the rest of the job. That was like the worst labor and delivery experience ever. The only nice thing about it was that nice lady when she started at the beginning. And anyway, but I was thank God it was quickly soon because it was like 3 hours. It was 3 hours long. And let's see, I got to the hospital like at 7 p.m. and I had my baby at 10:26, so that's how long it was. And on top of that, I could just kind of wanted to forget the whole experience. By the time I had my son and I went into the recovery room, I guess, or maternity room, I don't know how you call it, but they take you to another room where you can be with your son and everything. I think that was really nice. That was a really nice experience. Everybody in there was much, much nicer, except for this one nurse who kept telling me that I needed to give formula to my son. I had decided that I wanted to breastfeed, and I felt like she pushed me to give formula to my son. They are not supposed to do that. Again, this was 2012. So she was like, from the moment, she was like, "Your son looks hungry. Like, you're probably not giving him enough milk because you're first time mom. And if he doesn't know how to feed, he's going to die. So you need to give her formula." Those were her words. She's not supposed to talk to you like that. Nobody's supposed to talk to you like that. So don't ever believe that. that was my experience. But other than that, the 3 days that I waited there were like really nice. They gave me a lot of supplies for the baby. The room was clean and well taken care of. I guess that's it. That's my birth story. Follow the links below because I'm gonna make two video series of this. The next one is going to be on my experience in this hunting hospital, but 2 years later, which was a lot different. This was at Palisades Medical Center. It was on May 26, 2012, and those were the horrible and the good things that happened to me. But overall, I have a good memory of my birth because I was just so excited to see my son that nothing else mattered. And the kind of relief that a woman feels when she kind of pushes that baby out and she's able to see him or her, that is just inexplicable, and it's the most beautiful thing ever. And then you kind of forget about all the bad things that really happened. Another bad thing that happened to me in there was that they didn't want my husband to be in the room, and they didn't allow them. Like, you know how kind of like when you're pitching, one person is supposed to be holding one leg and the other one's supposed to be holding the other leg. Well, she didn't want it. The nurse didn't want anybody to help me out. I kind of had to scream out and say, I cannot do this by myself. I need somebody to help me push. I can push, but I cannot hold my legs by myself. I'm tired. At that moment was when they allowed them to be there. I really didn't like that I had to fight for my mom and my husband to be. If you're not in any danger and you're in a hospital and you're not in any danger and you're not having a C-section and you're like having a normal delivery, you should be allowed to have two persons in the room with you, at least your mother and your husband, and there should be no discussion about that. But anyway, that was my experience. Okay guys, bye. See you on my second and last video regarding my birth experience on these hospitals.